I knew something was wrong the moment the phone rang. Not because it rang late. Late was normal. It was the sound. The phone at the counter didn't ring like a regular phone. It never had. The speaker was old, busted in one corner, so every call came through thin and flat, like the voice was being squeezed through a wall, but this time the ring was clean, sharp, clear, too close. I stared at it for a full second before moving. The gas station was closed, locked, lights half off, and the payphone outside had been dead for years. I picked up the receiver anyway. "Midway Fuel," I said. "We're closed." Silence, then breathing. Not heavy, not panicked, just patient. "Hello?" I said again. The breathing stopped. A voice came through low and calm. "I need help." I felt my stomach tighten. "Sir, this line is for employees only," I said. "If this is an emergency, you need to call." I already did. Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl. "I'm at the payphone," the voice continued. "The one outside." I looked through the glass doors. The forecourt was empty. No cars. No people. The payphone stood under its flickering light, just like it always did, gray, cracked, and useless. The cord had been cut years ago. I'd seen it myself when they shut it down. "There's no one out there," I said. There was a pause. Then the voice said very quietly, "That's what I said too." The line went dead. The phone in my hand clicked once and went silent. I stood there for a long time, listening to the hum of the lights and the distant rush of the highway. My reflection in the glass looked pale, stretched thin by the fluorescent glow. I told myself it was a prank, some glitch. Maybe the line crossed with something else. That's what I would have believed, if the phone hadn't rung again. The phone rang on the third beat of silence. Not loud, not urgent, just steady. I didn't answer it right away. I stepped closer to the glass doors and looked outside again, like maybe I'd missed something the first time. The rain-slick concrete reflected the lights overhead. A couple of bugs bounced against the fixtures. The highway beyond the trees hummed faintly with distant traffic. Still no one. The payphone stood there like a bad joke. Receiver hanging crooked, cord cut clean, the metal housing rusted and tagged with old graffiti. I'd worked here long enough to know nobody ever used it. I went back to the counter and picked up the phone. "Yeah," I said. The voice came through instantly like it had been waiting. "You didn't come out." "No one's out there," I said. "You can't even use that phone." Another pause. "You're looking at it," the voice said. "I'm using it." I swallowed. "Listen," I said, trying to keep my tone flat, professional. "If you're messing with me, it's not funny. I'm here alone. So am I." The lights flickered overhead. Just once. Enough to make my heart jump. I glanced up, then back at the phone. "What do you want?" "I need you to open the door." My grip tightened on the receiver. "We're closed. Corporate policy. I can't let anyone in after midnight." "That's okay," the voice said. "I'm not asking you to let me in." Something scraped faintly through the phone, a sound like plastic being dragged across concrete. "I just need you to come outside." I laughed. It came out shaky and wrong. "Yeah, no chance." Another pause. Then the voice sighed. "Okay," it said. "Then just tell me something." "What?" "Why is my car still warm?" My chest went cold. "There's no car out there," I said. "That's weird," the voice replied. "Because I can see it." I turned my head slowly toward the front windows. At first, I didn't notice anything. Then my eyes adjusted. A car sat at the far edge of the lot. I hadn't seen it before. Dark sedan, headlights off, parked just beyond the spill of light where the concrete faded into shadow. My stomach dropped. "That wasn't there a second ago," I whispered. "I know," the voice said. "That's why I called." The phone line crackled. "You should probably tell me why the engine's running," the voice added. "Because I didn't leave it on." I hung up. I didn't slam the receiver down. I didn't yell. I just placed it back on the hook like maybe if I acted normal, whatever was happening would stop. It didn't. The lights flickered again, longer this time. The hum of the refrigerators behind the counter dipped, then steadied. I checked the security monitor. 4 camera feeds showed the pumps, the lot, the road. On the screen, the car wasn't dark. Its taillights glowed red. I leaned closer to the monitor. The driver's side door was open. The phone rang again. I didn't answer. The ringing stopped. Then I heard it. A sound from outside. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Coming from the direction of the payphone. I backed away from the doors without thinking, bumping into the counter. My pulse hammered in my ears. I watched the glass, half expecting a face to appear inches away. Instead, the footsteps stopped. Right outside, a shadow passed across the frosted decal on the door. A knock followed. Not loud. Polite. I froze. Another knock. "Hey," a voice called out. Not through the phone this time. Through the glass. Same voice. "Can you hear me?" I didn't answer. The handle rattled gently. "I'm not trying to scare you," the voice said. "I just need to come in for a minute." The security monitor flickered. On screen 3, the one aimed at the front doors, I saw myself standing there. Same jacket, same posture, same face, but the reflection in the glass didn't move when I did. On the screen, the other me raised a hand and knocked. 3 times. I backed away until my shoulders hit the cooler doors. "This isn't real," I whispered. The phone rang again. I didn't want to pick it up. I did anyway. "Midway fuel," I said, barely audible. "You see it now," the voice said. "Good." "What do you want?" I asked. "To finish my shift." The lights went out. Every single one. The only glow left came from the security monitor. On the screen, the door opened. From the outside, the door on the security monitor opened slowly. I was still standing inside, still breathing, still real. But on the screen, the other version of me stepped forward into the light. He moved exactly the way I would have. Same slight limp in the left leg, same habit of adjusting the jacket sleeve. Even the way he hesitated for half a second before crossing the threshold. The camera didn't glitch, didn't distort. It recorded everything clean. The door behind me rattled in the darkness. Not on the screen. In real life. I turned. The glass doors were still closed. Locked. But the knocking was coming from the inside now. Behind me, I spun around, heart pounding, and saw my reflection in the cooler doors. Except it didn't blink when I did. It smiled. "You can stop pretending now," the voice said right behind my ear. I screamed and stumbled forward, tripping over my own feet. I hit the counter hard, pain flaring up my arm. When I looked back, no one. The lights snapped back on all at once. Too bright, too normal. The security monitor showed an empty store. No second me, no open door. Just the pumps outside and the quiet road beyond. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't remember putting it there. I pulled it out. One voicemail. Caller ID Midway payphone. My hands were numb as I pressed play. Static. Then the voice. Calm, familiar. "You left the door open," it said. "So I came in." The message ended. I didn't wait. I grabbed my keys, vaulted the counter, and ran for the back exit. The storage hallway felt longer than usual, the lights flickering overhead like they were struggling to keep up. I reached the back door and shoved it open. The night air hit me hard and froze me in place. The parking lot behind the station wasn't empty. My car was there, parked crooked. Engine warm. Driver's door open. I knew without checking that the keys were still inside. "You always park like that," the voice said from somewhere close. Too tired to care. I backed away. "No," I whispered. "This isn't happening." "It already did," the voice replied. Footsteps crunched on gravel. Slow. Measured. I turned and saw him standing under the dim security light. Me, but wrong. Eyes too still. Smile too practiced. "You can go," he said gently. "I've got it from here." "What are you?" I asked. He tilted his head. Relief. The lights inside the station flickered. "You're just the overnight," he continued. "No one remembers you. No one checks on you. No one notices when you disappear." He stepped closer. "I do." My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. This one was longer. I didn't play it. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't grab my car. I ran until my lungs burned and the road lights came into view. I flagged down the first truck I saw and didn't explain anything. By the time the cops went back with me, the station was quiet. Locked. Empty. No signs of forced entry. No second car. No security footage past midnight. They said I must have left early and forgotten. They said stress does things to people. They asked if I'd been sleeping. I quit that night. Never went back. A week later, I drove past the station on the highway. The lights were on. Someone stood behind the counter. He looked up and nodded. My phone buzzed. No caller ID, just a text. Shifts covered. Don't be late. I didn't reply. But every night, right before midnight, my phone rings once. I never answer. And somewhere at a closed gas station on the edge of town, the payphone is ringing too.